Ready to plunge into the wildest myths ever spun by ancient imaginations? From ravenous giants to sneaky shapeshifters, these legendary beings have captivated storytellers for centuries. Some might scare you witless, while others charm you with their cunning or splendor. Curious to discover which creature just might lurk under your bed or soar above your head? Buckle up, friend, because we're taking a tour of list of mythological powerhouses that'll leave you awestruck. Baba Yaga. An old hag who lives in a house perched on chicken legs, Baba Yaga hails from Slavic folklore. Depending on her mood, she can help heroes or devour them, which makes dropping by her hut a bit of a gamble. She flies around in a mortar, wielding a pestle and scattering illusions wherever she goes. Despite her frightening nature, Baba Yaga sometimes offers cryptic guidance, bestowing magical items or wisdom. If you ever find yourself lost in a dark forest and stumble upon a spinning hut with poultry feet, maybe knock politely and hope you don't become dinner. Manananggal. A gruesome figure from Filipino mythology, the Manananggal separates at the waist, sprouting wings to fly off into the night. The upper torso hunts sleeping pregnant women feeding on their unborn children with a razor-sharp tongue. Yikes! To stop this terrifying predator, sprinkle salt or ashes on the lower half, preventing reattachment by dawn. It's basically the worst roommate scenario imaginable. You hear flapping wings and your friend's top half is gone. If you feel a breeze inside your house at 3 a.m., maybe verify everyone's still in one piece. Whiteo. Hailing from Mayan lore, the Whiteo is often depicted as half-man, half-goat or dog, sporting glowing red eyes. Locals believe it's an evil sorcerer who changes shape to prey on livestock. Some say you can fend it off with salt or ash at your doorstep. Others claim its mere presence can curse an entire farm. Next time you see an eerie figure skulking among the barns, you might want to keep the barn doors locked, or stock up on garlic salt and maybe a bright flashlight. Old tradition suggests scaring it off with a stiff whiff of burning rubber, if all else fails. Wendigo. Native American folklore warns of the Wendigo, a gaunt, tall spirit that craves human flesh, formed by extreme hunger or cannibalism in wintry isolation. It's said that every time a Wendigo feeds, it grows in proportion to its meal, so it remains perpetually starving. Some see it as a cautionary tale about greed and isolation. Hear strange whispers in snowy woods. Feel an unsettling presence behind the pines. Might be the Wendigo sniffing for its next meal. Best keep your camping nights short or very well lit. Gaia. The primordial mother of all Gaia is Earth itself in Greek myth. From her sprang the Titans, the giants, and basically everyone else who matters in those ancient tales. She's nurturing yet formidable, especially if you hurt her children. She's also known to raise monstrous offspring like Typhon when the gods step out of line. Next time you stomp your feet on the ground in frustration, remember you're basically stepping on a goddess's face. Probably best to tread lightly, just in case she decides to quake back. Haka. Legends whisper of the Haka, fabled to be unbelievably strong. Some say stronger than any Olympian champion. They're rumored to descend from ancient wanderers traveling across lands and leaving behind epic tales of superhuman feats, like lifting boulders or halting raging bulls. It's unclear whether they truly exist or if they're just a storied exaggeration of certain tribal groups. Imagine an entire lineage of unstoppable powerhouses who can flatten mountains just by flexing. If that were real, no doubt they'd rule every strongman competition on Earth. Tiamat. In Mesopotamian myth, Tiamat is the primordial saltwater ocean personified. Initially nurturing, she later transforms into a raging chaos dragon to battle younger gods. Marduk defeats her using her body to form the heavens and earth. So basically, the world is shaped from Tiamat's remains. Think your parents are dramatic? Tiamat's meltdown literally rearranged the cosmos. Sometimes a cosmic explosion is the only way to express your frustration, though maybe just taking a deep breath is a calmer alternative. Yamada no Orochi. An 8-headed, 8-tailed serpent from Japanese folklore, Yamada no Orochi demanded a maiden sacrifice each year. The storm god Susanoo got the beast drunk on sake, and then sliced off each head, rescuing the land. Hard to imagine anything scarier than a single giant serpent, let alone one with a head count that could fill an entire meeting table. Lesson learned: if you encounter a multi-headed reptile with a thirst for human tributes, keep a few barrels of strong drink handy. works better than trying to reason with 8 sets of fangs. Jormungander. The Midgard serpent in Norse myth. Jormungander is so huge it encircles the world, biting its own tail. When it finally releases its tail, Ragnarok, the apocalypse, will commence. Thor once fished it up, leading to a near battle that shook the oceans. Imagine hooking a worm so big it spans continents. Makes that marlin catch look like goldfish in comparison. If the seas ever churn violently, maybe it's Jormungander stirring in his underwater slumber. Pray, he stays coiled. Huli Jing. A 9-tailed fox spirit from Chinese lore, the Huli Jing can transform into a gorgeous woman or man, often to seduce humans and feed on their life energy. They're cunning, powerful, and sometimes helpful if treated respectfully. One minute, they're your most charming friend. The next, they're draining your essence. If you spot suspiciously fox-like shadows around a charismatic stranger, keep your wits about you, and maybe a talisman or two. Fox spirits rarely reveal their tails unless they're about to pounce. Kappa. From Japanese lore, the Kappa is a water-dwelling imp with a turtle-like shell and a dish on its head that holds water, its source of power. Often mischievous, it's rumored to drag unwary swimmers underwater. Yet if you bow politely and the Kappa returns the gesture, spilling its water, it loses its strength. That's cultural courtesy for you. A simple bow can neutralize a Kappa's menacing side. Imagine a polite standoff with a scaly green trickster. I tip my dish to you, I bow as well, and splash. The Kappa's might drains away. Good manners literally save lives. Quetzalcoatl. A feathered serpent deity from Mesoamerican culture, Quetzalcoatl represents wind learning and the boundary between earth and sky. He's part snake, part bird, fully revered by the Aztecs and other civilizations. Some legends claim he brought humanity maize, while others revolve around cyclical creation and destruction. Picture a brightly plumed serpent gliding through the air, wise beyond measure. If you sense a breeze carrying faint hissing melodies, maybe Quetzalcoatl's flying overhead, bestowing knowledge or waiting to renew the world again. Cerberus. The 3-headed hound of Hades, Cerberus, guards the entrance to the underworld in Greek myth, preventing the dead from leaving. Each head might represent past, present, and future, or birth, youth, and old age. Either way, sneaking by this dog requires cunning, like Orpheus's music trick. Its serpent tail and mane of snakes only up the intimidation factor. Next time your pet dog barks at the door, be grateful it has just one head. Dealing with triple drool and triple growls would be a logistical and hygienic nightmare. Yeti. Often called the abominable snowman, the Yeti hails from Himalayan folklore. Described as a large ape-like creature adapted to frigid conditions, it leaves mysterious footprints in snowy mountain passes. Some see it as a shy guardian of the wilderness, others consider it a savage beast. Expeditions have tried to track it, returning with tantalizing clues, but no proof. Next time you're trudging through a blizzard in Nepal and spot giant footprints, might be best to pick up the pace. After all, abominable isn't exactly a glowing character reference. Dybbuk. Straight from Jewish lore, a Dybbuk is the displaced soul of a dead person that clings to a living host, often to resolve unfinished business or seek revenge. Some tales mention brides possessed on their wedding day, turning a joyful ceremony into a ghostly showdown. Other stories detail Dybbuks that linger until forced out by holy rituals. Talk about awkward house guests. You can't just kick out a spirit that snuck into your body. If you've ever felt goosebumps for no reason at all, maybe there's a Dybbuk rummaging around waiting for that perfect moment to cause some chaos. Dragon. From the wise serpentine guardians of the East to the fire-breathing beasts of the West, dragons are near-universal icons of power and mystery. Western dragons are often depicted hoarding gold and roasting knights with their scorching breath. In contrast, Eastern dragons might control weather, bring fortune, or teach hidden wisdom. Regardless of region, these colossal reptiles embody awe and terror in equal measure. Feel that tremor underfoot? Might be an earthquake or a dragon shifting in its lair. If you find a gold-filled cavern, maybe check for smoky exhalations before you grab any treasure, because if there's a giant tail flicking around, you'd better run. Kraken. Legends from Norse seas describe the Kraken as a colossal squid-like monster that can drag entire ships to watery graves. Sailors once whispered that a single tentacle rising from the waves could be a sign they were doomed. Some claim the Kraken could create whirlpools just by submerging its massive body. Modern sightings might chalk it up to giant squids or extremely imaginative fishermen, but the lore lives on. Next time you're on a boat and see something massive bump against the hull, do you blame the waves or start scanning the water for a behemoth eyeball peering back? Succubus. Sultry, seductive, and occasionally sporting bat-like wings, the succubus visits slumbering folks in the dead of night. Medieval monks often cited succubi to explain away their illicit dreams. It wasn't me, it was that demon, I swear. Legend says these shapeshifters siphon life force through well-passionate encounters. They're rumored to be irresistible, but the price might be your vitality. Or worse, would you be strong enough to resist a midnight visitor whose allure is downright supernatural? Maybe keep a Bible and some self-control handy just in case. Laestrygonians. The man-eating giants of Homer's Odyssey, Laestrygonians decimated Odysseus's fleet, feasting on unlucky sailors and smashing their ships. Only the hero's vessel escaped, leaving behind a horrific scene of giant cannibals feasting. Think you've got tough neighbors who complain about your yard? Try living near folks who consider you a potential appetizer. Let's just say if you see any suspiciously tall silhouettes at the port, it might be wise to turn around and head back out to sea, fast. Euphemus. A rarely cited figure in Greek mythology. Euphemus was said to be a son of Poseidon, gifted with astonishing speed. So swift, in fact, he could dash across the sea without sinking. Some tales claim he outran even the mighty Hermes, but others chalk that up to mythic bragging. If true, he'd be the ultimate marathon champion. Just imagine a figure who can literally run on water, leaving behind startled fish. Next time you're at the beach and spot footprints leading out to the horizon, maybe you found Euphemus's jogging path. Prometheus plant. This snippet of mythology focuses on the fennel stalk Prometheus used to smuggle fire from the heavens to humankind. As a titan who shaped men from clay, Prometheus defied Zeus to grant mortals the spark of civilization. Of course, that earned him eternal torment, chained to a rock while an eagle feasted on his liver each day. Talk about a harsh punishment. But hey, all that suffering gave us warmth, technology, and s'mores. Next time you flip a light switch or roast a marshmallow, maybe raise a silent thank you to the titan who risked it all for a flicker of flame. Orpheus. Armed with a magical lyre, Orpheus could charm birds out of trees and calm savage beasts. When his beloved wife Eurydice died, he ventured into the underworld to bring her back. Hades granted her release on one condition: Orpheus mustn't look back until they emerged. In a moment of doubt, Orpheus turned, losing her forever. Moral of the story? Trust the process, especially when the king of the dead sets the rules. If you've ever been so curious you couldn't resist looking, you know exactly how Orpheus felt at that fateful second. Cyclopes. One-eyed giants with a knack for craftsmanship, the Cyclopes, Brontes, Steropes, and Argus, are said to have forged Zeus's thunderbolt, Hades' helm of invisibility, and Poseidon's trident. That's some impressive smithery from these monstrous artisans. Outside their workshop, however, they can be a bit aggressive, as Odysseus discovered when he blinded the Cyclops Polyphemus. If you ever spot an oversized smith wearing an eye patch, maybe give a polite nod and avoid mentioning how many eyes normal folks have. One rude comment, and you might find yourself the target of a giant hammer. Fenrir. A colossal wolf from Norse myth, Fenrir is destined to devour Odin during Ragnarok. Shackled by the gods who feared his power, he bit off the god Tyr's hand in protest. Once Fenrir breaks free, chaos ensues. Imagine a wolf so large it can swallow a deity. If you bump into a puppy with suspiciously large fangs, you might want to keep an eye on how fast it's growing, just in case you're raising a cosmic devourer. Metis. First wife of Zeus and goddess of wisdom, Metis carried a prophecy that her second child would topple Zeus. Naturally, the king of the gods swallowed her whole to prevent that from happening. Still, Metis was already pregnant with Athena, who later popped out of Zeus's head in full battle gear. One moment Zeus has a headache, the next a fully armed goddess bursts forth. If that doesn't keep a father on his toes, nothing will. Next time you gripe about a migraine, at least be grateful no one's about to spring from your skull with a spear. The Nyx. Dark as midnight and twice as mysterious, Nyx embodies the night in Greek myths. Even mighty Zeus respects her, knowing she wields ancient powers that go beyond daylight dominion. She birthed deities like Hypnos, sleep, and Thanatos, death, shaping the intangible forces we encounter daily. Some say she drifts across the sky in a chariot, cloaking the world in darkness so her children can roam freely. Ever feel that overwhelming hush when night settles in? That might be Nyx gently placing the stars above, reminding us the cosmos is older and more powerful than we could ever imagine. Fates. Three sisters controlling destiny itself. Clotho spins the thread of life, Lachesis measures it, and Atropos snips it at the appointed moment. Even Zeus can't overrule their decisions. The Fates show up in countless myths, rarely speaking but always working. One flick of their scissors and a mighty hero's saga ends abruptly. Next time you're biting your nails before a big life event, imagine the Fates quietly weaving your future. You never know when they might decide snip. End of the line. Aristos Archi. A lesser-known but benevolent deity, Aristos Archi, guided mortals in everything from beekeeping to hunting. Some stories blame him for setting off tragic chain reactions, like inadvertently causing Eurydice's death, but others credit him with teaching vital skills that advanced entire communities. He's a reminder that even a helpful god can bungle things, proving that cosmic mishaps happen, even in divinity. The next time your day spirals after one small mistake, just think, if gods can slip up, we mere mortals are definitely off the hook. Qilin. A gentle divine creature from Chinese mythology. The Qilin combines elements of deer dragon and unicorn. Often seen as an omen of good fortune, it supposedly appears only in lands ruled by just leaders or during auspicious times. Its appearance can vary, sometimes with hooves, sometimes partially scaled, always strikingly graceful. Think of it as the mythical equivalent of a four-leaf clover times 1,000. Spotting one suggests cosmic harmony. If you see a deer-like beast with shimmering scales and a dragon's whiskers strolling by, either pinch yourself or bow in reverence for your insane stroke of luck. Apophis. An Egyptian serpent of chaos, Apophis attempts each night to devour the sun god Ra as he journeys through the underworld. The cosmic battle repeats endlessly, with Ra triumphing each dawn so the sun can rise. To mortals, that daily victory is just another sunny day, but in mythic reality, it's a nightly cosmic wrestling match. Next time you watch a sunrise, imagine the sun's fiery rays as trophies of Ra's victory over the monstrous serpent. If that's not dramatic enough to get you out of bed, I don't know what is. Jinn. In Arabian mythology, jinn, or genies, are spirits made of smokeless fire invisible to humans. Most of the time, they can be mischievous, benevolent, or downright malevolent, and might pop up to grant wishes in exchange for certain conditions. Western pop culture glamorizes them as wish granters, but older tales warn that jinn often twist requests into curses. If a supernatural entity asks, "What is your desire?" you might want to double-check the contract's fine print. Because "I wish for infinite riches" can turn dark if your gold appears through nefarious means. Girtablilu. Scorpion-bodied guardians from Mesopotamian mythology, Girtablilu, blend human torsos with lethal stingers. They guard sacred gates, possibly to keep mortals or lesser spirits out. Ever try reasoning with a scorpion-human hybrid? Probably not wise. These creatures stand watch like living bouncers for the divine realm, and one sting could mean instant doom. Next time you see a scorpion scuttling around, imagine it at man size, brandishing a spear and yelling, "Halt!" Terrifying, right? Mothman. Hailing from American cryptid lore, the Mothman sports enormous wings, glowing red eyes, and a penchant for appearing before disasters, like the collapse of the Silver Bridge in West Virginia. Is it a warning or a harbinger? Witness accounts vary from giant bird to winged humanoid, but nearly all agree on those uncanny red eyes. If you ever glimpse a towering moth-like figure perched on a streetlight, you might want to check tomorrow's headlines for looming catastrophes, or move to another city fast. Pegasus. A winged horse born from the blood of Medusa, Pegasus soared through the skies in Greek myths, linked to hero Bellerophon, who tried to ride him up to Mount Olympus. Pegasus exudes both majesty and mischief. Legends say he refused unworthy riders. People often associate Pegasus with poetic inspiration and freedom. Imagine galloping across the clouds, the wind whipping your hair, leaving the mortal realm far below. If you ever see a magnificent horse with wings overhead, maybe your daydreams just became reality. Neon. A creature from Chinese folklore, the Nian is said to emerge from hiding each Lunar New Year to terrorize villages. It supposedly fears loud noises, bright lights, and the color red, hence the fireworks and red lanterns of Lunar New Year celebrations. Over time, people realized they could scare it away with celebratory clamor. Ever wonder why certain festivals get so noisy and colorful? Blame the Nian. If you hear fireworks crackling at midnight, maybe they're not just for fun. They're also a centuries-old beast deterrent. Minotaur. Part man, part bull, the Minotaur lurked in the winding labyrinth of Crete, feeding on youth's scent as tribute. Born from a dubious union involving Queen Pasiphae and a divine bull. Long story, it was eventually slain by hero Theseus. With a bull's head and a human body, this monstrous figure epitomizes raw, violent strength trapped in an endless maze. Next time you feel lost in a labyrinthine building, at least you're not hearing ominous snorting echo off the walls. Thunderbird. In Native American legends, the Thunderbird is a giant bird that causes thunder with the flap of its wings and lightning with its eyes. Symbolizing power and divine presence, it protects humanity, but can unleash storms if angered. Some tribes depict it as a guardian, others warn of its destructive might. Picture a massive eagle-like creature soaring above the mountains, each wing beat shaking the clouds. If you hear rolling thunder on a clear day, maybe the Thunderbird's just flapping by to remind everyone who's boss. Makara. A Hindu and Buddhist mythological sea creature, Makara blends attributes of crocodiles, elephants, and fish, typically serving as a vehicle, vahana, for river gods or sea deities. Artistic depictions vary wildly. Sometimes it looks like a whimsical aquatic chimera. Other times it's a terrifying guardian at temple entrances. Its presence is often considered auspicious, promising protection and prosperity. Imagine a being that can navigate rapids, oceans, and temple steps without breaking a sweat. Next time you see a stone carving of a fish, elephant, crocodile, that's probably a Makara telling you, hey, you're under divine security. Vampires. Swooping in from the darkest corners of folklore, vampires are undead beings with a thirst for human blood. Classic Western lore paints them as elegant figures draped in capes, think Count Dracula, while older legends describe them as bloated red-faced ghouls creeping through villages by night. Some myths even blame unexplained deaths on a vampiric night visitor. Modern vampire stories emphasize charm, eternal youth, and spooky castles where the curtains stay closed until dusk. Ever hear a bump in the night and wonder if it's just the wind or a centuries-old bloodsucker seeking a midnight snack? For your sake, let's hope it's only the wind. And Hellhound. In eerie cemeteries and haunted crossroads, the Hellhound prowls with glowing eyes, dark fur, and a growl that can curdle blood. Often associated with the underworld, these shadowy canines sometimes guard gates to the land of the dead. Surprisingly, legends also paint them as potential protectors, warning travelers of danger or guiding lost souls away from harm. One day they might snarl at you, the next, they might show unexpected loyalty, much like a normal dog, except with possible ghostly powers. So if you see a pair of fiery eyes at midnight, do you run or do you pet and say good doggy? Trick question, try not to faint first. Chimera. A bizarre mix-and-match monstrosity, the Chimera typically boasts a lion's head, a goat's torso, and a serpent's tail. Some versions even toss in a dragon's head for extra scare factor. In Greek mythology, it terrorized the countryside, breathing fire and sowing panic wherever it roamed. Modern usage of Chimera refers to anything that's a crazy combination of parts, but this original beast took crazy combo to a whole new level. Imagine telling your friends you just saw a lion spitting flames while a goat bleats in the middle of its back. Roc. In Middle Eastern tales, the roc is a massive bird capable of snatching elephants in its talons. Sailors like Sinbad recounted encounters with an avian giant that dwarfed entire ships. Some say rocs nest on mountaintops, dropping huge eggs that could feed a village. If you think a seagull stealing fries is annoying, imagine a roc swooping down for your entire fishing boat. That's avian snatching on a whole different scale. Keep an eye on the sky if you see suspiciously large shadows darkening the sun. Which mythological creature do you think is the most powerful? Are there any legends you find especially fascinating? Let us know in the comments below. Like always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give us a big thumbs up and leave us some love in the comments section. To keep up to date with all of our awesome videos, be sure to hit subscribe and turn your notifications on to never miss a thing. Until next time, do take good care of yourself.